silly methods are for those that struggle, that need some help. Okay? For those that are competent, not awesome in math, but competent in math, and if you're in an Algebra 2 advanced class, you're competent in math, or you should be, then you don't need crazy methods. You just need to think about things. The two things that are here would have multiplied to be x squared. So what times what would get me x squared? X. And we know the two things here would multiply to be 24, excuse me, and they would add or combine to make 10x. So I need to come up with two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 10. Now here's the second part of this, is like, so that's sort of the setup. The other part is, like, do you know your math facts well enough to figure that out? Or are you stuck, writing things down and using a calculator? You're not going to have a calculator. Like, you need to know some things that multiply to 24, and then you can figure out, well, which of those pairs add up to 10? 6 and 4. Right? If I FOILed that out, I'm not going to FOIL it out, but if I did, it's practically FOILed out already with the pictures I drew. X times x is x squared. 6x and 4x makes 10x. 6 times 4 is 24. You should know, when you turn in a factoring worksheet, you should know if it's right or not. Like, you may not be able to figure it out, but you'll know if it's right or not, because if you can FOIL your answer and get what you started with, then you know you got it right. So you should be able to grade your own factoring worksheets. If you know your math facts, factoring is not hard. Number 6, x squared plus 2x minus 24. So what two things would multiply to give me x squared? X and x. So I'm still aiming for 24 on the multiply, but on the add, the O and the I of FOIL, somehow I've got to get to 2 on that. So Max, what do you think? Yeah, 6 times 4 give me 24. They need to be different signs to get to negative, and then I want them to add to a positive 2, so I need a positive 6 and a negative 4. Again, there are other ways to factor. There are people who draw this giant X. There are people who make boxes. There are people who say TPTS. Like, if you need any of that stuff, fine. I'm not teaching that. I want you to be able to figure it out. Like, this is not supposed to be difficult if you know your math facts.
It doesn't matter what side they're on, right? Just imagine the sign.
That's right. The signs matter. You said that exactly right. The signs matter, but the order does not. Right? As long as x minus 4 is together, it doesn't matter which factor comes first. All right, well, number 12 looks a little weird. What makes number 12 look weird? A negative. So there's sort of two approaches to this. You could think, well, that comes from negative x times x, but nobody likes factoring like that.
You could put a negative out front or a negative 1.
Let's put a negative 1 out front. That's going to make life way easier. You don't have to do that, but I think it makes life way easier if you'll do that. Okay, so x times x is x squared. That's easy enough. And then I need those two numbers that multiply to negative 18 and add to negative 3. So factors of 18. Okay, I will slow this one down. So if you're really stuck, then you've got to list out your factors of 18 and figure out how to get 3 out of there. Well, looks like 3 and 6 would work. Which one needs to be negative? Negative 6, so that I get negative 3. And sure, there's a negative out front, but we already handled that, and that can just stay out there. What about 14? Actually, let's stop jumping around. Why don't you try 9, 10, 11. Why don't you do 9, 10, 11 real quick? Well, maybe not real quick, but do 9, 10, and 11. Got some volunteers here. OCN for 9, Mateo for 10, Layla for 11. How about what happens, or what do we get when we factor x squared minus 8x plus 16? Good. And again, if you aren't sure, I mean, you guys know this, like you just FOIL it to make sure. X squared minus 8x plus 16. So you know you got it right. Again, you'll know if you got it right or if you don't have it yet. Mateo, how about x squared plus 2x minus 48?
Plus 8, x minus 6.
Good. X plus 8, x minus 6. And again, you FOIL that to check, and Mateo got it right. Layla, how about x squared plus 2x plus 1? Very nice. X plus 1, x plus 1. Any questions on those? All right, 14 looks a little different because it doesn't have a middle term. Or the middle term is 0. Maybe a different way to say that. So x times x gets me to x squared. And I need to come up with two numbers that basically cancel each other out. So they've got to be the same number but different signs. So plus 3 and minus 3. What do you think we should do first on 15? Take the negative out. And then it's pretty easy after that. Again, if my lead term is negative, I'm always going to factor it out. You don't have to, but it's just so much easier if you'll take that lead negative off of there. What about 17? Let's take out an A, and let's take out a negative. So let's take out a negative A. So this isn't unfoiling, this is undistributing. So what would need to go in this first blank so that negative A times first blank is negative A cubed? A squared. And what would need to go in the second blank so that negative A times second blank is 49A? Negative 49. And now you've got the fancy name for that is difference of squares. But you don't have to know the name of it, you just need to know how to factor it. So Emery, what do I get when I factor A squared minus 49?
Like when you FOIL it?
When I unfoil it.
Oh, negative A cubed plus 49A.
That would be if I distributed, I'd get back to where I started. But I want to go the other way. I want to factor that. I want to know what two things would multiply to get me A squared minus 49. All right, you went that way, which was correct, but I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. I need to factor it. I need to know what could I multiply to get to A squared minus 49.
A minus 7.
Okay, that'd be the first one.
And then A minus 7 again. Or A plus 7.
Which one?
Plus.
Because negative times positive would give me a negative. And I need those 7 A's to cancel each other out. So they need to be different signs. Okay, then we get to 19. Oh, what makes 19 so scary and frightening?
The 2 in front of the X.
The 2 in front of the X. Yep. So Let's see. One of the x's has a 2. That's a great place to start. One of the x's has a 2. Yep, absolutely. That's the only way we're going to get 2x squared. Okay, so now things are going to get a little trickier because whatever goes in that second spot is going to be multiplied by 2. So I need those two numbers to multiply to 3, but I need the combination of all that to get us to negative 5. I'm switching to a pencil because this is a little bit of a guess and check game.
Could you do 1?
Well, what are my factors of 3? 1 and 3. So I don't have many options here.
Yeah.
So
You put 1 there.
1 here,
No, sorry.
1 and 3.
Yeah.
All right, what about the signs? If I want this to land at positive, then they need to be the same sign. But if we're going to combine to make negative, then they definitely have to be negative. I'm going to go ahead and put that in pen. So let's see if this works. 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Do those combine to make negative 5x? Negative 2x minus 3x? That's negative 5x. So we guessed right the first time on that one. Let's do another one of those. Let's look at number 20. Well, it's got some of the same numbers. So it's got to be 2x and x. It's got to be 3 and 1, but I don't know about where the 3 and the 1 go. We had a teacher call this the double smiley face check. Because you had a smiley face and another smiley face. They gotta combine to make that inside term.
Negative. 3 is negative. To make sure it's like negative. Oh wait.
I mean, you're right that one of them needs to be negative. I don't know which one, so I'm just going to guess negative 3 and positive 1. They've got to be different signs, though. You're right about that. Okay, let's see if that does it for us.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either, because that would be 2x minus 3x. That does not make negative 5x.
No solutions.
And if I switch the signs, that'll make it 3x minus 2x. That won't help any. So, Brooke, when you say switch, what do you want to switch? Let's switch the 3 and the 1. I like that, because that'll put the 3 across from the 2. So now we got 6. 6x minus x. Does that equal negative 5x? No, but
Make negative 3 instead of positive 3.
yeah, we're off by a sign. Like we're almost there. We're at 5x. We want to be at negative 5x. So if we'll switch both of those signs, this a plus 1 and this one a minus 3. Now I've got negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. So now I've got it. It's a little game of guess and check. Again, your quick math skills have to be on point in order to figure that out. If you can't multiply 3 and 2, then you're just going to be lost. If you can't add negative 2 and negative 3, you're going to be stuck. Let's see. How about 21? What are we going to start with? Like, what am I going to have to multiply to get to 3x squared? 3x and x. Putting that in pen. What are my factors of 2? 1 and 2. So I know it's 1 and 2. Now I just got to play with the 1s and the 2s and the pluses and the minuses to see if I can land at the right spot. How about number... What would you do first? I'll let you try them, but what would you do first on 22? Take that negative out. I wouldn't say you're not going to get rid of it. You're going to just factor it out because that should make it easier from there. What about on number 23? What should we do first on that one?
Like 3x and
So, yes, you could do that, but it would be better if we noticed.
Oh, we can simplify it.
Well, I can't divide by 3. I can factor out a 3.
Oh.
If the 3 hasn't gone anywhere. And then that makes my factoring a little bit easier. So try 22 and 23. I could tell you immediately knew you shouldn't put 7 across from the 5, right? You peek ahead a little bit. You're like, 7 times 5, that's 35. That's way too big to deal with. So I'm pretty sure the 7 doesn't go there, which means 7's got to go there, 1's got to go there, and now it's just a matter of getting the signs right. So this is 5x and 7x. That makes 2. But if I want my 2 to be positive, then I probably would rather a positive 7 and a minus 5. Double smiley face, check as you go. On number 23, let's see, it's got to be x and x. For 3, it's got to be 3 and 1, so 1 and 3. Oh, everything's positive, so that's an easy one. I'm going to do the double smiley face to make sure. X plus 3x is 4x. 1 times 3 is 3. X times x is x squared. Alright, so we're unfoiling today.
You're foiling my face.
Unfoiling. I'm unfoiling, right? Someone foiled, we are unfoiling. Why don't you try 24 and 25? There's only a couple minutes left, but hopefully we're most of the way done. So you can check, 2x and x. I've got options here. 4 could be 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. But if I want to get to 9, feels like I need a 4 across from 2. That gets me to 8. Now I'm getting somewhere. And if they're both negative, then I've got negative 8x minus 1x is negative 9x. 25, I can factor out a 3.
And then it gets weird.
It gets weird.
Yes.
1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2.
But how you get 2x?
Because when I do my double smiley face, I get 1x plus 1x.
Never mind.
That's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're practicing.